Hey folks, welcome back to YouTube and Cruising with the Carsons. I guess I'm your host for the moment, Gregory Carson. Thanks for coming back, you guys. As always, greetings and salutations to everybody. Hope y'all are doing well. What am I bringing you today? Well, I'm going to tell you something. Oh, it makes me so mad what some of these dealerships are doing. How they're just taking advantage of would-be buyers that don't know a thing or two about campers, and just makes me so mad. You should not be one of those people. So I'm going to tell you why exactly I'm bringing you this episode. So stick around. What I want to talk to you about today are dealerships, RV dealerships, and what you, the viewer, need to look out for, because they are not looking out for you, I'll tell you that much. So yesterday, when we took our Cougar into the dealership, we decided on the way home to do a little field trip, so we stopped off at another dealership just for kicks and giggles. And we were just kind of looking around at different campers, and we happened to come across this 2022 Keystone 3850 RD rear den. So we walked through it, kind of looked it over, and we were like, wow, nice floor plan, beautiful unit, gorgeous interior, great floor plan. And I thought, you know what, while I'm here, I'm going to go look around a little bit and inspect this thing a little further. So I checked out the suspension, checked out all the exterior components, tires, wheel package, everything that goes into making up a camper. Then I decided to climb onto the roof. So I asked them if I could borrow one of their ladders so I could get up on the roof and do an inspection on it and just kind of look it over. So they said, absolutely, man, knock yourself out, take your time. They left us alone while we looked through this camper. And holy frickin' moly, you guys. You're going to see in the photos what I found on this roof and what I found on the upper portion of the exterior of this particular camper. A 2022. What appalled me is that this dealership thought it was okay to put that unit on their lot for sale the way it sat. So let's get back to these photos of what I found, and I'm going to tell you about my visit with the sales manager after I showed him all these photos. So let's cut to these photographs. Now, in this first photograph, what you're looking at is one of the legs that holds one of the solar panels down on top of the camper. Look at this freaking Dicor. Now, if you don't know what a Dicor is the caulking, or it's made by that company. It's a rubberized caulking that's made to use in conjunction with the TPO membrane or EPDM membrane, which is what is on probably 95% of all the RVs out there. It's that rubber membrane that is on your roof, the one you saw in my prior videos with all the bubbles and shit on it. Look at this Dicor. This is 2 years old, and look how it is failing, already failing. Now, let's cut to another photo here of the molding, all right? Now, this is the molding that covers these metal aluminum channels that hold things down on your RV. Look at the end of this molding, how it's pulled out, cracked, frayed. Now, mind you, this was not the only one. I found about 7 or 8 penetrations on this camper where this molding is just falling off, dry rotting, coming apart, failing. So all these screws behind that molding that have been exposed are water penetration points for water infiltration. They're not getting sealed up and covered. That means they're exposed. Now, the most horrific thing I found on this camper, let's go to this photo. Now, in this photo, what you're looking at is where the very top of the nose cap meets up to the roof. This is the transition seam that divides the two, where they marry together. Now, look at this freaking appalling Dicor caulking job on this roof. This is disgusting. Absolutely disgusting, you guys. Look at the holes, look at the separations, look at the perforation areas for water infiltration. Absolutely unbelievable. This is from the factory, you guys. This is from the factory. Now let's cut to this other photo. In this corner, this is where the roof rounds off to the wall, okay? And again, this is right at the area where the front nose section, or the front fiberglass cap, meets up to the roof itself, where they marry together. This is one of the rounded corners where it transitions down onto the sidewall of the non-door side of the camper. Look at how this is separating and coming apart. Now, I should have took a video of this part. I took my finger and I pushed down in this corner, and you could tell it was beginning to rot. When I pushed down on it, water oozed out of it. So you can only fathom what's going on in this roof. Unbelievable. Now, as for the rest of these photos, I'll put them back together here in a quicker sequence, but you get the idea of how big of a travesty this is, that this is happening on a 2-year-old camper that spent its life here in Minnesota. So we don't get months and months and months and months of direct hot 100-degree days, etc. We're lucky if we get that maybe a month or two out of the year at best, 90 to 95 degrees with humidity. So this particular camper sat on a lot from a couple that bought it brand new and traded it in for a park model. So guys, getting back to my conversation with the sales manager, he came out and he said, well, what do you think, man? And I played it up like I was thinking about buying this camper. I said, well, gorgeous floor plan, man, what a great floor plan. He's like, yeah, we'll make you a heck of a deal on it. I said, but there's a problem. And he's like, oh, what's that? I'm sure we can take care of it. I said, well, this one you can't. So I pulled out my phone and I showed him all the photographs that I took of the roof. And he knew at that point that I know a thing or two about campers and I know what I'm looking for. And I told him, look, man, you can't guarantee me that this camper doesn't have some issues going on. I said, because right here where I squeezed down on the corner, water droplets started pouring out of it. And I told him how on the back of the camper where the ladder is connected that you climb up to on the roof, when I stepped onto the first run, I looked down to where it's connected to the body of the camper, and water started pouring out of it at the bottom of the hole where it connects to the camper. I said, this camper's got major problems. And I looked right at him and I said, how can you sell this camper as is to a would-be buyer without fully inspecting it? And furthermore, did you inspect it when you brought it in on trade? Didn't you bring it into your shop and let your service guys look at it and determine this? I'm like, you're willing to just sell this to a would-be buyer who's unsuspecting, that doesn't know about RVs? And I looked at him and I'm like, this is disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Now, mind you, this is the same dealership that we bought a brand new KZ Durango from. And I was just in disbelief, you guys, absolute disbelief. So, moral of the story is simply this. Either hire an independent inspector if you're thinking about buying a used RV, because I don't think there's any dealership out there that you can trust. You know, mind you, this is a mom and pop owned operation. And those are the ones that you typically want to buy from because they're not owned by a big corporate conglomerate that has to jack their prices up because of high inventory and large goals and large profit margins to cover their nut. Typically, a mom and pop shop, you get really good service from. They have better pricing. So I don't know about you guys, but I found it kind of disgusting that a dealership is perfectly willing to turn something like that loose out on their lot for sale. His basic comeback to me was, well, you know, the best I could do was bring it back in the shop and have them remove and replace all the Dicor caulking that is up there. And I said, brother, it's too late for that. I'm like, you're going to have dry rot in this camper in that upper corner where it was already getting soft and spongy. I'm like, the only way you're going to remedy that is to tear the roof up. And he stopped me. He cut me off and said, oh, we can't do that. We're not going to do that. So I'm like, so you're basically going to go ahead and sell this damn camper to a unsuspecting would-be buyer now knowing that there's damage up there or whatever. And all he kept doing was deferring to, well, we can replace the Dicor caulking on top, etc. He would not directly confront me when I asked him specifically about those problems where there was water infiltration and dry rot already starting to present itself in all of those symptoms. So be careful, everybody. When you go out there to buy a used camper, be careful. Get that inspection done. If you're a would-be buyer and you know a lot about campers, comb that thing over. I spent an hour and 15 minutes, you guys, combing over that camper with a fine-tooth comb, and I came up with a lot of stuff. So be careful when you're buying. Don't trust any dealership, even if you've bought from them before. Do diligence, do your homework, get it inspected, and think twice before you buy that camper, and make sure it's what you want and what you should get and what they promise to deliver to you. So that being said, guys, I appreciate you being here and tuning in today. Hit that like and subscribe button. We'd love it if you'd get on board and follow the channel. Appreciate all you guys for being here. Until then, see ya.